Hi, sir. Are you looking to increase your followers? Make sure you subscribe to unlock my tweet.
Yo, you looking to increase the size of your egg roll?
Buy my merchandise, please. Looking to transition into another woman? Oh, God.
For Palestine!
So I'm taking that as a no.
Liberals against Trump! Donate to Bill!
Buy some shitty coffee and support my page.
Support Biden 2024!
Hey everybody, it's Brownie here on a beautiful Tuesday evening here in Australia. We're here as a bunch of groups from all over the Telegram sphere, from different truther groups, different movements, but we're all here with one common goal, and that is to get our freedom back. How do we do that? Well, essentially what we've got to do is we've got to make ourselves ungovernable. You look what's happening in various countries around the world, where they're standing up and protesting. They're throwing manure at parliaments and police stations and so forth. You know, not saying we have to do that, but we do need to make a stand. And at the end of the day, we've fought a really good fight in the last 4 years. We did so well down in Canberra until it all fell apart, and I won't go into why that happened, but it did fall apart. But we did actually have the basis of something that, if we had the right momentum, this bullshit may have been over by now. But having said that, we need to make sure that the White Hats, the people who are on our side, understand that we're taking a stand. And then just like France, Belgium, Germany, the truckers in the US who are now starting to not deliver goods to certain blue states, they're showing the White Hats that they have had enough, and that we are ungovernable, in that we are the ones that just have had enough, and we want this BS to be over ASAP. Now, with that said, you know, a couple of weeks ago, a lot of us were on the green room call with John and Ricardo Bossi, and you know, there was quite an animated call. It may have shocked a few people, but you know, if shock was what John and Ricardo were looking for, then that's good, because people sometimes need to be shocked out of their stupor. This fight we've been fighting for the last 4 years, we do not want it to be dragged on any further, any longer than it has to. So we need to step up. We need to make sure that the powers that be know, and when I say powers that be, I'm meaning our government, our you know, a legal government, and of course the White Hats know that we want this over and done with.
Thank you, Brownie. Is my sound okay?
We're looking really good, mate. Excellent.
Okay, all right. Look, thank you for the invitation. To those people here tonight, I'm just going to make the assumption that nearly all of you here are switched on, okay, and you've got street cred, and you sort of know what's sort of unfolding around you, right? So I'm just going to make this assumption, okay? Now, national strike. Now, the national strike was called for and moved only a couple of weeks ago. It's up around the 7,500 votes, and it's still got a lot of momentum to go. So it's got a lot of support out there. I'm not going to say overwhelming, you know, support, but it has got a lot of support, and there's a lot of talk about it. Now, the national strike was called by myself only after looking at all the other options that are out there. There was another good researching friend, a guy called Wyatt Wharton, and I had a private conversation where we spoke about the lawful rebellion documentation that Wyatt served on Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, and also the Archbishop of Canterbury, and also followed up writing to Her Majesty, right, seeking relief, seeking some sort of relief. And there's none. The point I want to raise with all Australians is that every single lawful means of trying to get relief, trying to get a remedy to our problems here in Australia have now been exhausted. Now, arising out of that and knowing that, I've spoken to those constitutionalists out there, those people that have done all, they've spent years of their life researching and publishing about the legal system that we are in, all about the maritime law, all about the corporation law, all about the fake courts, the fake councils, the fake cops, etc. All this stuff. Now, when I went through all of that body of work, okay, they all say the same thing. They may say it in different ways. They may express it in different ways, but they all say the same thing: is that all of this fakery, all of this fraudulent apparatus that is on top of us here in Australia and is suffocating our country is a belligerent occupation. That's what it is. That was the words that kept coming through time and time again. And we are all basically agreed that we have a belligerent occupation. So with no remedy, none whatsoever, finally, with a diagnosis of what the problem is, a professional diagnosis from people who know this stuff. You're not arguing with Conno John. You are arguing with an entire body of research that's been done by well over a dozen or more people over the last decade or more. Okay. Now, how do we deal with this? And then I looked at the options. What are our options? Now, yes, you have the old violent option, which is like a communist overthrow. You stage a coup, you muscle up, you meet their force with our force. So force meets force, and may the better man win. So that's that way. But the other way is to build power. So our power meets their force. They have the force. They have the guns, they have the weapons, they have the frequency weapons, the police horses, the dogs, and all of that. They have the power. They have the force. So it's up to us to overcome that force with our power. Power and force are mutually exclusive. They sound the same, but they are not. Now, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build power out of the people. Now, I make this point. All imprimatur, all these constitutionalists, every one of the royalists, they all say to me that all sources of authority come from the people. They come from the people, right? So if you don't have any imprimatur from the people, then you are nothing. And it's no different from Conno John. I need the imprimatur from the people to be able to put my hand on my heart and say, okay, I am speaking on behalf of these people, and we now are going to engage in this strike action. So I need the imprimatur of the Australian people, and moving a strike motion is pretty straightforward. Before you go and have a strike, you have to ask the people, do they want to do that? You have to. In all my years in the unions, that's what you do. You got to go up to the project, up to the site. You call the union members together and you say, this is wrong, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. And then the guys then say, well, we want this fixed. This is our log of claims. This is what we want. These are our claims. Now, then they move a motion. I move, I second. All those in favour say aye. That we all go on strike until our log of claims is met. That's how it works. That's how it works. And that's what I've done. I've gone online. I have hosted, not a petition, but a motion to take strike action. And I've asked all of my Australian brothers and sisters, right, to vote for it, to give me your imprimatur. Now, so far, we've got about 7,500, and we need a lot more than that. Now, listen, there is nothing stopping anyone from supporting this strike motion. You must understand that. I am not trying to pick any political party, any group, anything. I am asking you as an Australian brother and sister to support the strike. That's what I'm asking you, okay? I'm not asking you to join anything. I'm not asking you to give any money. I'm not asking you to buy any merchandise. I do not want any jobs. I'm not trying to start any political parties, okay? This is purely, as it says, to get our nation back and to make sure that all these kids that are abducted and being put in unsafe environments, and for these kids to be safe. It's that simple. Complicated. Now, after we get out, people are saying, "Well, what?" Mate, that's when my remit finishes. Once Australia, all you guys out there, get your country back under constitutional law. What you do with it, it's up to you. It's up to you guys, okay? I'm not telling you what you should do with it, what you should fix or not fix, what you should build or not build. That's up to you. All I want is to get the nation back and get it under constitutional law and order, because at the moment we don't have that. Now let's talk about the strike and how, listen, the strike is not one event. It is a campaign, and it's going to go all this year, all of this year, 2024. This is not one event. Now, we are going to roll this strike out after it's endorsed, when we do get the imprimatur from the public, so I can put my hand on my heart. After that's done, right, okay, we will then announce and roll out strike actions. Now, there's going to be a number of them. Let me just give you some examples, everyone, examples. Now, we may have a strike action which is all about refusal to pay rates to all councils in Australia. We may call for a rates strike. Now, that rates strike is going to stand on its own. And inside of that rate strike team, right, inside of that is going to be a whole bunch of people who have either successfully not paid their rates or who are partially way through not paying their rates. So that if you want to participate in that strike action, Como John's going to call for it. But if you want to participate in that strike action, you're going to go to this area here. A whole bunch of people who know what they're going to do, and they're going to help you participate in that strike action. You understand me? And it's going to be the same for the next one. The next strike action may well be a strike against the banks, right? We are not going to pay, let's say, any rent, okay? Let's say. Now, Como John may call for that. He may call for, let's have a rent strike. You have to make a call yourself as to whether or not you want to participate. Let's say that you say, no, I don't want to participate in that strike. That is fine. That is not a problem. That's not a problem. But let's say you do want to participate in a rental strike. I'm going to direct you over here. And inside of this pool of people, we're going to have people who know all of the rental laws, all of the appeals, all of the protocols, everything. And they are going to help you with advice and support so that you can participate in a rental strike. Okay. And we are going to keep doing this for each one of the strike actions that I am going to call out for. So it's important, one, you choose whether or not you are going to participate in either that particular strike action or all of those strike actions. You understand? Why does Como John say that? It's because of the people who are now supporting the strike. They've given me this feedback. They've said, Como John, I'm a professional. I'm a white collar professional. I work in high tech and all that, right? If you do this to me, right, I can't do it. It's too problematic. You know what I mean? And then, but I can participate in this over here. Quite happy to participate in this, but I can't participate in this. I'll give you an example. If you say, let's withdraw our labour, what about our military people? Our military cannot easily just withdraw their labour. They'll be court-martialed. Lots of problems, right? So we can't expect our military to participate in any strike action that is withdrawal of labour. I'm giving you examples, people. I'm giving you examples. This is not a top down. It is not a one size fits all. This is a campaign over the rest of this year to grind this country to a halt, to make it ungovernable. It's not an event. This is a grind them down campaign, okay? But as we grind them down, we are going to be muscling up all of that experience, knowledge, and support that's already out there. People have already done this. We're going to bring them into this strike, and we're going to get them to provide that backup and help, okay? No one's making money out of this. No one's charging. We are doing this all, as patriots, okay? And it doesn't matter. We don't care where you come from. Again, I don't think it matters. No one's asking you to stop being a member of this group and to join this group. No, doesn't matter. Stay where you are. Who cares? Who cares what group you're from? As long as you support the strike. Now, this has this unintended consequence of this strike motion. Unintended. I didn't think we'd have any arguments. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what's hard to understand about all this? Why should we be having any arguments about the safety of children and to get our sovereignty back, to get our country back? What is there to argue about that? Okay, I'm not trying to sell you a political party. I'm not trying to build anything. I'm not trying to get a job. I don't want you to vote for me. Any of that. What is hard about this? Okay, there is no reason why any member of any group, of all groups, cannot support this motion and participate in this strike action. There's no reason. Now, what it's done, however, it's exposed the lines, the political fracture line. Now, I'm going to pass on this to those people here, right? Okay. And I don't think you've heard this on air certainly not from me, but let me pass this on. Look, if you honestly in your heart accept that we have a belligerent occupation of our nation, upon Australia, if you honestly believe that, okay, and I'm not saying that as a bold statement with no proof. I am quoting Dick Yardley. I'm quoting Wayne Glue. I'm taking Romney Stewart. I'm quoting all of these people. Okay, they tell me that we have a belligerent occupation. Now, if that is the case, if that is truly the case, the next question I have to ask, okay, we want this belligerent occupation removed. Okay, who are they? What does it look like? If we're going to take our country back, who am I taking it off? Who am I taking it off this? What does this belligerent occupation look like? Now, if you honestly accept that we have a belligerent occupation, that means that all, without fail, all, bar none, of those that are in Parliament right now are part of this belligerent occupation. You get me? They are part of it, and you can't get away from that. Now, the only question that arises is, do they know or don't they know that they are in fact sitting cheek by jowl with a belligerent occupation? And I don't think that passes the pub test. In 2014, Anne Bressington, an MLA in South Australia, laid it all out. She laid out all of the United Nations, all of the World Health Organization's plans. She laid it out. It is not possible that Pauline Hanson, Malcolm Roberts, Senator Antic, and all of these people do not know this. They do know this. They do know that that there is a belligerent occupation upon this nation. They know that. And that's why their gatekeepers that they have in their network, right, within the Australian freedom movement, will never agree. They will never, ever agree that we have a belligerent occupation, ever. For them to agree to that means that they themselves agree that they should not be there. So that's the first thing. And so that's fracture line number one. You are seeing that right now in front of your face. They are never going to accept the term belligerent occupation when thousands and thousands of us, right, backed up by the best research says it is. You got me? That's fracture line right there. The other fracture line is they are calling us mad, crazy. If you don't follow the mainstream scripture, trip, all that bullshit, right, then Craig Kelly and others might call you crazy. If you mention child trafficking, if you mention adrenochrome or any of this stuff, which we now know, right, we didn't know it 5 years ago. I didn't know it, but we now know what it is and how big it is and the importance of all this, where it fits, right? We are now mad. Okay, that's the fracture lines within the freedom movement. The strike motion has exposed these fracture lines in a big way. The strike motion is not a violent, reactionary communist type. No, it's not. I know my background. I get all that. No, this is a strike to let the air out of their tires first. And after we've let the air out of the tires, then what we'll do is we'll put a bit of water in the engine and mix it up and fuck the engine up. You know what I mean? But we will grind this economy to a halt and then provide, those with decision-making power. We don't care whether it's David Hurley. We don't care whether it's a white hat military operation. We don't care. We are giving the option that you either give us our sovereignty, sack the lot of them, get rid of the lot of them so we can fix this country up, or you have an ungovernable nation. That's it. That's it. So that's the motion. It's meant to make the nation ungovernable, very clear. The target is very small. I am not going to dilute it. I'm not going to unbalance it or whatever. It is what it is. Okay. And it will and can lead to a real turning point, a real historical turning point in this country right now. I have been part of historical movements before. I can point to East Timor freedom and celebrations there. I can talk about South African apartheid and others. I've been part of historical movements before, and this is every bit historical. It really now gets to whether or not people can look past the rough head, me, can look past all of the silliness, right, and say, listen, we don't care who he is. We don't care how rough he is, he talks and all that sort of stuff, right? Okay. We think that he's going to do what he says, and we trust him. I'm hoping that people can just simply do that. I do know what I'm doing. I've done these big major national campaigns before. I'm asking people to trust me. I'm asking people to give me, to have faith and to loan me their energy because we have a country to get back. Okay. All right. That's it for me. Thank you, Stephen.